Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us for this session of Insight Simplified. I'm your analyst for the day. I'm Neha Jain. I'm a senior analyst with NASSCOM Insights, and I cover talent, skills, future of work, DEI, patents, and sustainability at Insights. So thanks everyone for joining us today, soon after the lunch. So thank you so much. Now, as part of the discussion today and this whole initiative that we are running, we'll take you through the report that we recently launched at the People's Summit in Chennai. And the report primarily focuses on the emerging trends that are transforming Indian academic institutions to get industry-ready talent. Now, what this report broadly covers is, how the shifts are happening in recruitment, what sort of efforts are being made across institutions on skill building, experiential learning, and how this whole trend of entrepreneurship, when we say that, the gig working model, plus the startup culture that is kind of propelling at the college across the country. Now, we end the report with some targeted recommendations for students, industry, and academia. Now, before I get into the key trends that are covered in the report, how we did the research for this report. This is primarily based on a 200 plus survey responses from engineering colleges across the country. And all the charts and data that you see in the report are coming from that survey itself. We also have some insights, and those insights are primarily coming from the in-depth interviews that we did with 15 plus academic institutions and industry experts. When you look at the detailed report, you'll also see more than 15 examples, industry examples and case studies. And that would give you some idea of what are the kind of the best practices that are being applied across the academic institution, as well as what the industry is doing with the academia. So a lot of examples on industry academia partnerships. Also, the report does talk about various trends, which again have some, hypothesis which is drawn from some credible global research that has been done in the past. So those sources have also been used across the report. Starting with the trends that we have and what we'll be discussing today. So the report broadly talks about 5 trends, and you can see all of them on the screen. We'll pick up we'll go one by one on these trends, and we'll finish up with some recommendations. We'll keep some time for question and answers as well. So towards the end, we'll do keep some time on some question and answers. And in case anybody has any questions during the presentation, please feel free to put your questions on the chat. All right. So starting with the first trend that we saw, that, what we are seeing now is there's a new wave of campus recruitment that we are seeing. So we all know that, at engineering institutions, in large Indian IT services continue to lead in terms of recruiting most number of freshers. But what we have also seen last year is a lot of startups and GCCs are coming to campuses to hire freshers, which was probably not the case a couple of years back. Another thing that we noticed was the type of this shift or a slight change in the way companies are hiring tech freshers. Previously, it was majorly the tech companies who have been hiring tech freshers, but with, digital transformation becoming a strategic imperative across various sectors, we do see a lot of non-tech companies also coming to campuses for hiring tech freshers. And some of the key sectors are manufacturing, BFSI, healthcare, retail, and telecom, which are recruiting, tech freshers from various colleges across the country. Now, another thing that we are seeing is, it's not only that these companies are coming to the campuses, it's also a preference that the students have for these companies, and they are willing to join GCCs and startups. And a couple of reasons that was cited was that, GCCs are also giving competitive salaries and benefits. They have a lot of global and growth exposure. They do have flexible work environment. So all these are primary reasons where students today are really willing to work for a GCC. On the other sides, if you look at startups, then, the kind of dynamic work environment, the freedom to experiment, there's a lot of emphasis on innovation and learning that is there. There's a lot of open culture with strong mentorship opportunity that the students today get is one of the key drivers that, they want to really go for the startup. So that's one of the key things that we are seeing from a recruitment perspective. Now, another thing that I would like to highlight here was that, maybe we used to see a lot of GCCs only limiting themselves to top tier institutions, but slowly and gradually we do see GCCs also going to tier two colleges and tier two cities for recruiting freshers. So it's, though tier one institutes continue to lead, but still we see a lot of tier two colleges who are gaining preference for certain GCC. So that's another new trend that's coming up. No, and the next trend that we saw was skills revolution on campus, or if I may say that, the shift towards skill-based hiring. So skill-based hiring where, there's a lot of preference for specific skills rather than just the degree. So that is, I would say, a common trend across lateral hiring, but slowly it is going into the colleges as well. And in the survey, we checked with institutions as to are they seeing this increased focus on skill-based hiring. So if you look at the responses, 85% said yes, while 9% said it is as is the way it was last year, and 6% said no. But if you look at more than 90% of the colleges are saying this whole preference towards skill-based hiring, and they are seeing the way hiring is being done. There is a lot of preference for specific skills. Now, when I talk about specific skills, the top skills that were highlighted by the institutions on the technical side was software programming and coding, which is your fundamentals that remain intact. While there's a lot of preference for AI, ML analytics, CAD, graphic designing, and cybersecurity. On the other hand, on the softer aspects, we see a lot of colleges are highlighting that there is a preference for soft skills as well, and that has increased over the last couple of years. And specifically in terms of the survey respondents, 82% said that yes, we have seen an increase in soft skills demand from the companies who are coming to campus. And top soft skills that they're looking out for are problem solving, your capability to work in a team, critical thinking, and creativity. Now, with so much change in the way demand for skills are changing, the companies are also, redesigning the way they hire. The hiring tests are being changed. So traditionally, online test, which is a lot of large Indian IT companies have been doing for quite a time, that remains as a it remains as a key way to do one level of segregation for the candidates, but a lot of focus on gamified learning, new ways such as doing hackathons, some core softwares being used to test your soft skills, platforms, online platforms to see how you're talking, to judge your communication skills. All of these things are coming into the way companies today are hiring freshers. So it's no more limited to just the technical skills and no more related to one test or a few interviews, but the overall hiring process is becoming more robust and is seeing a lot of new platforms which are coming into the whole process. So that is what colleges are saying from a skills perspective. Now, the whole shift on skill-based hiring, as I just said, it was a common phenomenon in lateral hiring, and a recent LinkedIn survey highlighted that 71% of the companies highlighted they are focusing on skills, and the top companies that are focusing on skills are the IT, ITS services, and GCCs. So institutes are also highlighting that, and the same thing we are seeing from a industry survey also. Now, moving forward, another thing that we are seeing is, there's a whole focus on there's a whole focus shift towards industry-backed learning and certification. Now, what we have seen over the last couple of years is that colleges are now prioritizing emerging technologies so that the graduates that are coming out of colleges are industry ready from day one to take up their work across various segments that industry today is focusing on. So if we look at the way colleges today are teaching, they have 60% of the colleges are saying, more than 60% of the colleges are saying they have redesigned the curriculum. 13% of them are saying that they are planning to implement some curriculum level changes. And 60% also highlighted that they have launched certain new courses. And all these courses which are being launched now are focusing on some of the newer set of skills. And some of these skills are AI, ML, data science, cybersecurity. And when they're redesigning this curriculum, they are adding such these new emerging technologies, both from making changes in their curriculum as much as they can. If they're not able to alter their curriculum because of whatever governing regulations they have to follow, they're making sure they're putting certifications and all these technologies as electives in the curriculum, so that the students have to mandatorily take up these courses, and it will be part of the report card that will be generated at the end of the session, and all these certifications are also being added as part of their results. So this is something that has happened over the last maybe 1 or 2 years, and it is gaining a lot of traction across colleges. So though all these trends are new, I would say these are not 100% applicable to all the colleges, because we are talking about a sample, but most colleges are aware and are making these changes. And the ones that are not doing it, they are really planning to implement such changes so that their students are industry ready, and they're able to take up the work as things are changing from the recruiter point of view also. Now, one of the key highlights that we saw was majority of this redesigning of curriculum and the new courses that are being launched. They're being launched after talking to industry. So industry partnership remains the secret sauce that the colleges are following. And 74% of the colleges said that they have one or more industry partnerships. And all these industry partnerships are helping them redesign their curriculum. They're helping them launch new courses. They're also helping them train their own faculty. And they help them even design case studies. They're helping them get internships. So it's a consolidated effort that the industry is also putting across areas, so that the talent that is coming out of the colleges is industry ready from day one. So that's a consolidated effort that these partnerships are really helping. Going forward, the next trend that we saw was internships are becoming more meaningful and mature. So internships honestly is not a new concept, and organizations have been hiring interns for a lot many years, and colleges have also been putting their students on internship. But what has changed over the last couple of years is that colleges are making sure that whatever internship their students are taking up are more meaningful. They are more mature in terms of the opportunities that the students today are picking up. Couple of changes that the colleges have really made an effort to change, which is in line with what the industry has been demanding, is one that they are now today extending the period of internship from a traditional 2 to 3 months to more than 6 months, 6 or more months. Because what the industry has been saying is that 3 months, 2 to 3 months is not enough a period for any project that interns can pick up and finish. There have been case examples where colleges have been flexible to increase the internship duration for even 9 months or 12 months. That's one change that we are seeing. Another thing that a couple of colleges are working towards, and some of them have implemented on the ground, is that the internship period previously used to be sacrosanct and there was no exceptions that was made. But today colleges are making an exception that if there's a post-placement training, colleges are willing to take that post-placement training as an internship, which helps the student to join the industry much faster, and it also helps the company in getting the student onboarded quickly. Another thing that we are seeing is colleges are working towards putting centralized portals, which acts as a connect between the students and the company, where they are making sure that there are relevant and right set of internships that are coming in, and the students can pick up opportunities, and the colleges and the universities can monitor the portal. So it's a win-win for both the students and the industry, and it's an easy way to maintain this connection for internship. Another thing that we saw was GCCs today are making sure that whenever they are hiring interns, it is a very rigorous selection that they do. Now, the whole idea is GCCs are following a trend where they, after they have hired an intern, they prefer that if that intern is fitting right into the company, they prefer giving that intern a pre-placement offer. Though it's not a new trend, but for GCCs who were in the past not even hiring freshers, this is one of the key trends that we are seeing. And while they're, for the same reason, while they're hiring these interns, they're making the process very rigorous. They test on technical skills, soft skills, and it's a very thorough process that they follow. Now, even startups are also hiring a lot of interns, and as startups prefer to put interns on real life projects, it just gives more exposure to the students into the real work that is being done at the startups. And again, while they are on the real life projects, it gives them a closer assessment opportunity. And again, if it all works well, startups also provide a lot of pre-placement offers. Now, having said that, internship was not really the way of recruitment for the bigger companies, because the numbers they have been hiring were much larger. Plus, it's a good opportunity for students to learn on real life case examples, but because of confidentiality reasons, larger companies are not able to put interns on real life projects because of their confidentiality with clients. So that is one of the reasons why internship was not a real assessment framework for most of the larger organizations. Moving ahead, the last trend that we saw was, there's a huge focus on entrepreneurship and gig that we have seen across colleges that is increasing. So in the survey, the colleges highlighted that among students, they see 44% see there's an increased preference for gig, while 39% said that they see an increased inclination towards entrepreneurship. Now, when we talk about gig work and gig roles, the key reasons why students are going towards gig way of working is because such roles offer them a lot of flexibility and autonomy. Obviously, they're able to earn while they're still in colleges. They're able to develop their skills better. So if they have done a course in AI or say cybersecurity, and if they're able, through their gig assignments, they're able to work on a project on similar skills, it just gives them the right set of real world exposure. Also, last couple of years have seen a lot of gig platforms which have come into the industry, and we see a lot of gig platforms are making opportunities available across experience levels, and that includes opportunities for freshers also. So that has also played its role in increased number of gig work being picked up across students. Now, colleges today are quite comfortable with their students picking up gig roles while they are in colleges. They do make certain exceptions, whether it's about course or exams. So all of this flexibility has also helped students in, picking up more and more gig roles. Now, on the other side, a similar kind of a picture we see for entrepreneurship also, where we see a lot of strengthening in the overall ecosystem. Last couple of years, India has seen massive support for startups, and we have seen so many startups coming and doing wonderful work across various sectors. Now, that again leads to a lot of increased awareness that the students also have, since they're training themselves, not only limiting themselves to what it is there in their curriculum, they are training themselves for newer technologies. Colleges are also working towards that. So when they have the required skill sets, they want to really use them for maybe their own startup. So they are quite well equipped to start an own venture. Also, the whole zest towards innovation, that's again a real reason why a lot of people really want to work on their own. And this personal motivation to not work for a job, but for themselves, is also one of the reasons you cited across, people we surveyed. And at the end, the whole ecosystem, the institutional support that today we have in our country, that's also a major catalyst that's supporting the entrepreneurship culture. Now, quickly to finish these trends, we did have a few recommendations that we have for various stakeholders. So for students, what we saw that's very important that they develop practical skills. And when we say practicals, today you have enough exposure through various gig platforms. You have GitHub. Before you can join many hackathons that continue to happen. So it's not only about what you have learned in theory, but also applying it to practice. There's a huge focus on building soft skills. So it's no more important that you know your tech, but it's also important to get those softer aspects, work on those softer aspects. There's a very large focus on problem solving and creative thinking, mainly because in the current scenario where today maybe AI is the technology everybody is looking forward to, tomorrow it could be something else. So the basic problem solving and creative thinking skills will not change, whether it's any technology that we need to focus on. It's also important that, as technologies continue to change and evolve, the students needs to be updated as to what's happening in the industry and what's relevant, depending on what time we are in. And last but not the least is learnability. Because we are in a scenario where technologies are losing, the life cycle of the technology is getting very shorter as we move towards newer technologies, then it is very important that there is a lot of curiosity that the student has. The student should be willing to learn, because if that stays, you'll be able to learn whatever is there new in the market. But if learnability, that curiosity is not there, then it will be very difficult for anybody to adjust to when technologies shift or change. From an industry perspective, one of the key things that I heard from academia was that they should be more willing to do more academia partnerships, and that should not be limited to only tier 1 colleges. They should also look at tier 2 colleges and tier 2 and 3 cities, because that's where a lot of work still needs to be done. And for colleges to remain ahead of the curve and learn from the industry, it's very important that the industry remains ahead of the curve, and they should know what will work maybe 3 to 5 years down the line, because that's the time when the academic institutes will have the candidate ready for job. So that readiness should come from the industry first, and that should be communicated very well to the academia. Lastly, academic institutions and government bodies need to really make sure that they don't lose focus on core fundamentals. They remain important, and emerging technologies, soft skills remain the plus over and above the core fundamentals. So the focus should not be lost there. They should make sure that they have nano degrees which are relevant to the current emerging technologies in focus, and definitely on the softer skills also. One of the key things that I heard in a few conversations, you really don't need to have these as courses. You can rely on, the online certifications that are really good. They're are industry relevant certifications that are happening. So I think the faculty needs to be more aware of all these certifications. For every new technology, there's no need for a new faculty. So all these nano degrees work, and the industry is happy to have candidates who have these nano degrees. There has to be more focus on experiential learning and soft skills. Enough we have discussed on that. There is a need to build flexibility in course completion. So whether it's internships, some organizations would be okay with 6 months, some would need 9 months, some might just need 12 months. So that kind of flexibility should be there. A complaint that keeps coming from the industry is that PhD students continue to linger on for years. There has to be a stop on the PhD, number of years that a PhD should be completed. So all those things needs to be worked on. And for more details, we do have, covered all such issues in our report. So for anybody who's looking for more details, should look at the report in detail. Obviously, institutions also should work towards driving more industry partnerships, and both industry and academia needs to be really patient with this partnership, because it's not a quick fix. It takes time for these partnerships to show some result, and that patience is needed on both the sides. And lastly, there has to be an increased focus on training the faculty and increased focus on research. So that is what we heard from people. And we could take a few questions if there are any. So please let me know.